Welcome back to Cherries 99. I've been taking hiatus for the last 2 days. I was like, you know what, let me step out of it. Christmas is coming up. Shout out everybody who celebrates Christmas, yeah? I was like, I've got to stream. I've got to update the latest Premier League fixtures. Bit out everybody in here. Sissy Mussy's gassed already. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see this guy. My mods in the building. And of course, got my guest today on not Carnage, but Fight or Flight. Big up Abdi as well. Abdi in the building as well. We've got Ahmed and Rax putting Chelsea, Liverpool, of course. Lovely to chat early. Big up all of you as well. Mamba as well, AK. Big up. What you saying, Rax? What you saying, Ahmed?
Doing good, man. Doing good, bro. I hope you're doing well.
All good, man. All good. Nice.
We saying,
nice to be back. Good, man. Good. Nice to be back just before Christmas. Getting a little cheeky stream just before Christmas, you know. Then,
cheeky stream. That's the one.
That's the one.
Cheeky little stream. So I mean, shout out Jay as well. Always in the cut. Jay's smiling even though his team is frowning. Is that where it's fair?
As soon as he said that, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
No, you guys won't believe the music I was listening to then. I had to go pause it before I unmuted myself. These guys were like, "What? Shania Twain? Shania Twain? Big 2024."
You're gonna get copyright strike on Shania Twain.
Listen to Serena Carpenter, yeah.
No. What sort of guy do you think I am?
Have some respect, Ahmed. Have some respect.
It's Christmas Eve, so I've got the rum and lemonade, but I will be switching to my classic glass of wine because obviously, you know, it's past watershed, so you'll be getting glass of wine, Jay. Which after the game,
we like that, Jay, though. You know what I'm saying? You don't know we're going to get kind of Jay.
Listen, man, I think,
on the cusp.
And I was saying today,
you might want to go something stronger.
Oh yeah, Rax. I was saying today. Obviously, you might not have seen it, but I met Bobby Firmino today.
That's pretty cool, man.
Jay,
yeah. I said, Bobby, what does the F stand for? He said, phenomenal. I said, you're dyslexic, but a great player.
Hey Jay, where did you meet him? Is that Manu?
Yeah, Manchester. I was walking around, and obviously Bobby's fucking.
Wait, what's Bobby Firmino doing in Manchester? Isn't he playing?
Oh, man, he's probably like staying in Liverpool for Christmas or something.
Saudi.
Doesn't he play in Saudi?
Pretty still got.
Well, that's like a break in. They must have a break.
That's what
breaks in Saudi. What? Since when? Is that
must be it, man. That's why he must be here, no?
Yeah.
That's strange, Jay. When you saw Bill Firmino, I was like, "Is Jay go on holiday again?"
No.
Again? I was like, wait a minute, is Jay flying again? And then I realized
no. So, but he was there, and so he was with his missus, and I was like, the first thing I was like, you know, you got to be respectful, and I was like, listen,
man saw the missus and was like, wait, who's next?
It was with his missus, and the thing is, I always feel quite wary. Like, do you want to go to your family and they're relaxing? So I was like, listen, I'm really sorry. I know you get a lot of these kind of requests, but obviously would love a photo. So he's like, as I'm hitting my phone out, how's Saudi?
CJ. Then you got like diplomatic, polite J. Then you got
what I'm saying.
J. And when he's working in his office, it's Officer J. You know what I mean?
I was just like, yeah, do you mind taking a photo? And he was like, yeah, sure. I'm getting my phone out. I'm like, how's Saudi? He's like, yes, it's good. I'm like,
Was his English decent?
Pardon?
Was his English decent?
Yo, his English, yeah, it was. You know me, I was doing most of the talking. He just needed to say yes and no.
Hey Jay, is his teeth as bright as it looks on camera?
Bro, listen, yeah.
His smile is very radiant. It's like he smiles, the whole room just like.
Bro, my teeth are pretty nice, yeah. But I was looking at his teeth and I was like, raw. My dentist needs to be fired. Bro, it was like
he fits in the work, he fits in the real work, man.
He does almost 400k a week. So
yeah, hold on. I'm gonna reshare the photo in the chat. Yeah?
This is what happens, isn't it?
So I'm resharing the chat. If you just check the chat now, yeah. Now look at my teeth now. Yeah, look at my teeth in comparison.
Me a picture of your teeth?
No. Look at my teeth in comparison to Bobby Firmino's teeth in that photo.
Yeah, man. He's the dentist's best friend.
Yeah,
I can't see.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the NAF chat. I don't know if you're in that. That's why.
Yeah. I'll send it to you, right? I'll forward it to you.
Okay, cool.
But you see what I'm saying, yeah? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how wide?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. Aye, that's cute though. In a cool
It's
way.
a good photo. It's a good photo because I was like, my hair's a bit 7 out of 10 in it, but my face is carrying it. Like my face is holding it up. So yeah.
No, but the overall picture is like a 10 out of 10. That's like perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a good photo. Yeah,
it's a good photo. That's a good photo. You could frame that and it wouldn't look weird. Do you know what I mean? It would look like.
I mean, it would look a little weird framing a Liverpool player. That in itself would look weird.
Hey,
the neck pillows in the background give away that it's from the airport.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's the one, man.
That's the one there. Jay caught out again. That's funny, everyone.
This Christmas Eve.
I think everyone celebrates Christmas. Obviously, in terms of UK, everyone watching is like national holiday, innit? So bank holiday sort of thing. Regardless, everyone enjoys whether you're different religions.
If Mo Salah celebrates Christmas, who are you to not celebrate?
Yeah,
Christmas?
everyone celebrates Christmas one way or another. Even people. I live in a multicultural area, probably Ahmed does as well, right? Where like people, your neighbors, who aren't even in the same religion.
I don't have a Christmas tree this year.
Sweet, man.
Do you guys have Christmas trees? Rax, do you have a Christmas tree?
We have one in the office, but I don't have one at home. I'm not I'm not really. Not that I don't have anything against it. It's just hassle, right? If you live by yourself and like you're
it's difficult, man.
Yeah, man. When you live by yourself, there's literally don't like myself. I just live by myself, so it's like you don't need it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to see the photo? You want to see the photo?
Hold on, boys. I'll show you.
Hey, Johnny, that's what memberships get you, eh? You know what I'm saying? Johnny, you put on a membership and you get those perks.
This is the sad single man's Christmas trip.
Oh my God!
Wow.
The Christmas
guys,
shrub.
I need you to send me money next year so I can have a proper Christmas tree.
Does that personify anything, Jay? Is that your?
This is my. I couldn't even. It's so small. I couldn't wrap anything, so I just got it tinsel on it already because I couldn't put any tinsel on it because it's such a small tree.
Pre-tinseled.
Pre-tinseled tree. Pre-tinseled tree. It's not even the right color. It's actually brown. Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't look like a tree. It's all I could afford this year. Maybe next year I can upgrade to a little tree. That's why you need to sponsor the channel so Ches can start paying me in the future.
You can help Jay. I'm saying I can get money towards Jay getting the better Christmas tree. 6 foot thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough out here, guys. It's tough out here. Please contribute to the channel so Ches can help me afford a Christmas tree next year.
Straight down bad.
God.
Hey, that's so funny. Big up Johnny, big up Susie. Let's get into it, man.
Can we show
days. Big up the people.
You can show the picture. You can show the picture if you want.
Because I'm from part Trinidadian as well, so big up Sam. That's a mad name. Big up. You're from my country. So big up.
One second.
Big up the host in the chat. Respect from Trinidad and Tobago. My guy from the Caribbean. You know.
There we go.
Hey guys, look. No membership needed. Rax doing you a favor.
No membership needed, man. They're giving away the premium settings.
You get to send me a $5 after this for the membership I've lost.
Yeah, you bro.
That's a little taster. That's a little taster.
Against me.
Little tease, man. Little bit of the tease.
Celebrity photos as a chance to get free memberships, and you failed me. Yeah, you failed the objective. Oh, sorry, Johnny, you're lucky. You got off today. You know what I'm saying? You got away today. I mean, it's a mad day. A bit up from the Caribbean. It's mad how people watch from the Caribbean. Though. Actually, deep it. That's actually kind of mad.
Imagine you're in the Caribbean and you're watching Ches.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big representation, Ches. That's big.
Bruce Grove down in Tottenham. What's Saka doing in Tottenham?
Was he on crutches? To be fair, right? If you know North London, yeah, there's some massive yards up there, you know, like massive cribs. It's one of the richest areas in London, North London. Certain parts, anyway, not all parts. If you know,
Bruce Grove is a little bit.
Not that one
though. Yeah. He must be driving through. He was driving through.
You know, that's something you just drive through, man. I mean, you don't really be moving around.
North London is really nice. It's got a big park where they do fireworks and that.
Hampstead.
Maybe Southgate. Would you say Southgate?
Hampstead Heath.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Would you classify Hampstead Heath as North London? I guess so.
Yeah.
No, there's another area. I think I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm gonna try and find it.
I want to say Southgate.
For all the viewers who aren't in England, just giving you a bit of like knowledge.
Yeah. We got
problem is,
we got shout out
problem is,
now
man, you don't really. Problem with me is that North London is not my area, innit? So my knowledge is very what's it called? My knowledge is
where are you, Ahmed? Are you in the south?
I'm southwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ahmed. I was gonna say your mustache is looking more pronounced tonight. What's going on there?
He went through the whole of November to get to this stage. You see?
I see what's happening here. It's working for you. It is working for you. I was just wondering what was behind the shift.
The thing is, I usually have a mustache. Just that, like, you know, the other half doesn't like me usually having it.
Oh, okay,
and
nice.
B is like, you know, and B, I usually just prefer to have obviously.
Okay. Your face is smooth, rubbing his face.
Hey guys, I found out.
Listen, man, sensational, man.
Alexandra Palace. That area is nice.
Oh, Alexandra Palace, definitely, yeah, man.
That's probably where Saka lives, put around there, but you never know, innit? But everyone in the chat though, someone said. Which right last year, so I said London hype. That is so funny. Go on, Jay.
No, go on. I was just saying I don't spend that much time in London anymore. Like I don't want to be like, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a scaredy cat. Do you know what I mean? But London's kind of rough, you know. Like let me not lie. Yeah, like just leave me in my house in Manchester, bro. We'll be fine down here. So it's like
I feel like it's always been rough.
Yeah,
I think it's like I don't know, bro. Like it's a bit because I think it's just more like the reporting is a bit different in London too.
That's
like,
what I mean.
I don't really know.
Because it's so populous, yeah, you get so much of news, like in your brain, you feel like it's everywhere. But it's just like because social media now, you hear about everything. Back then, a lot of stuff will go on you wouldn't hear about.
That's a good point.
Monetization
that's a good point.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear as much, but like nowadays, you hear every single. This estate or this road, this here. Or,
and there's even channels on YouTube, on Twitter dedicated to giving you the news.
Dedicated to like violence and whatever. Although it was violence, robberies. Do you know what I mean? So you just hear about it a lot more. I'm not saying it hasn't gone up, by the way, but I'm just saying you definitely hear about it. But anyway.
Yeah, has it gone up or are we just more sensitized to it kind of thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Talking about sensitive, someone who's very sensitive is Ange.
Oh,
after his loss.
You're really learning with these transitions, Chaz.
Yeah,
you're growing.
I was waiting for the comment. Yeah, I was waiting for the comment. Do you know what I mean? But
the segue was less than subtle, but yeah,
it was like hi, here's a hammer. I'm gonna hit you over the head with it. Hi.
Hey guys, you let me land. Like, let me breathe. Let me breathe. Anyway, and interesting comments. So he's basically saying what you expect him to say, which is basically, with loads of injuries, some Spurs fans are like buying into that. Not using it as an excuse, but using it as a justification, if you would like, to conceding essentially 10 goals against your bitter rivals, one being local, one being Big Six, and basically not picking up wins. Like, it's kind of mad. I was driving to the gym yesterday. I was like, bro, they've conceded 6 goals. 3 goals in 2 games and didn't win the game.
Yeah,
at home. When you actually talk about it out loud, it sounds you scored 3 goals at home and you didn't win the game twice. Now that's and then people would argue, we score goals, but like that's not the point of football. The point was like to win games. So it's like it's kind of irrelevant if you're scoring 5 and losing and conceding 8.
I think
Liverpool. I think we can all agree for Jane might give their piece. I'll let Ahmed speak first, actually. That I honestly believe Liverpool took their foot off the gas. I genuinely believe when it got to about 3-4, they were like, change the subs up, intensity dropped, and before you know it, it was 5-6 goals. And for me, I think the injury excuse, I think the injury excuse is fair, but at the end of the day, football has injuries. It's part and parcel of the sport. So like you can't. I understand that the board maybe could back the manager more. That's a different debate. I understand that certain players being missing is very important. For example, Chelsea lost Cucurella yesterday, and we felt it. That's only one player, so I can admit it. If Liverpool lose Salah, it's going to affect them. So no one's saying it can't, but it's how you deal with that. That's where your manager comes into it. That's where your squad depth comes into it in quality. That's where your mentality is a team, where if someone goes missing, we're going to fight. No matter what, we're going to chip in. So that's where the conversations need to go to, rather than just, oh, we lost because X, Y, Z was out. And you just move on. Football isn't that, what's the word? Black and white. It's very grey. There's more conversation to be had. So, Ahmed, give me your take, because obviously I know Rack and Jay, perfect panelists to have on this channel to speak about it, but they're going to speak after you. What are you saying, man?
Honestly, would I say I'm surprised by the scoreline? I wouldn't say not so much, only because I feel like, again, we know what Spurs are about. Like, you know, if you know Ange Ball, you know a lot of the stuff that he's about. It doesn't surprise me. And at the same time, when you've really got one centre-back available for you in Dragusin and the style you play, you know, then that is kind of like the result you expect. Like, I'm not saying obviously 6-3 was not this well, but like I was thinking maybe they'd at least be like a 3-1, maybe even a 4-1. I thought that might be the end of it, maybe like a 4-2. But like at the end of the day, like, you know, with Ange, this is, you know, that he lives by the sword and dies by the sword. But when I mean sword, I mean basically his tactics. That's what he lives and dies by. And I just think, for me, you know, he doesn't have the pieces there. I don't think the squad is in the squad there is enough to even help him. But at the same time, they also, you know, I heard a friend of mine say, but they could have lost in like a more dignified way. And I thought, what's the difference between losing 1-0, you know, to Liverpool? Maybe you changed your tactics a little bit, but you still lost. So him going out the way he did, at least, you know, you can say he believes in his tactics at the very least. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Spurs, they need better players, bro, to be at the club, bro, to be able to implement this thing. And it's up to whether or not these guys upstairs are going to do that for them. And the reality is they've not done it for Mourinho. They didn't do it for Conte. They didn't do it for Pochettino. So what makes people think he's going to do it for and Postecoglou? Simple as that, really.
Go on, Matt.
Look, regardless of what happens,
you won 6-3. We don't need soliloquies. This guy.
I'm speaking on Tottenham. I want to speak on Tottenham now because
everybody. Okay, take your time, bro. Take your time. You wipe your shoes on the sofa. You came to my house, wiped your shoes on the sofa, and now you're trying to explain why that happened, yeah?
Drunk your wine and then left. You know, it was when you have those degree of injuries. Ultimately, whatever Ange decided to do, it probably wasn't going to work. Do you try and mitigate, you know, a crazy, you know, hammering, or do you just go out and play your football and see where the cards land? I think most people would have tried to be pragmatic in those circumstances, and I think actually, I know a lot of top managers, they'll stick by their philosophies regardless, but you have to try and do something to mitigate it. Maybe he was, but it didn't really look like it. It looked like he was playing it was his standard approach to the game, but just with far not inferior in terms of, you know, Archie Gray is an inferior defender. He's a really, really talented young player, and I think he'll go far. And I think Spurs have done really well to land him. But playing at a centre half, in a way, doesn't even do the kid many favours. So yeah, it's a tough one. But I think for a single one-off game, I think being pragmatic may have been the way to go. But ultimately, I don't think it would have mattered too much. I still think we would have won the game, but it would. It's just maybe he's making a hiding for a rod for his own back.
So listen, I want to say some stuff. But I want you guys to like flow in and out of what I'm trying to say. So it's like
100%.
So I I get completely the point of view. So to me, I'm at a point now with Ange where it's like, you know, like the Emperor's New Clothes. Do you guys remember? Do you remember the story of the Emperor's New Clothes?
Yeah.
So I feel like, hold on, let me ask ChatGPT.
Are you saying Tottenham's spot naked right now?
I'm saying, hold on. Let me get this AI summary for people who are in the chat. And it's
let me consult ChatGPT.
So ChatGPT. Oh, beautiful, the plot. So the Emperor is obsessed with new clothes, yeah? And he spends all his time and money on them. So two swindlers, disguised as weavers, offer to make him clothes that are only visible to those who are worthy of the position. Emperor is convinced, gives him a large sum of money. The Emperor and the courtiers pretend to see the clothes, even though they can't, for fear of appearing unfit or stupid. The truth is revealed when a child points out that the Emperor is naked. The moral of the story is that one should always speak the truth. I tell you about this story, gentlemen, because at a certain point, at a certain point,
I love this chat. It's so funny. Like everyone's on it.
Hey, listen, that's what I'm saying. Is Anne showing his naked bum bum? Maybe is the point. Because the thing is if you have a Mourinho and a Conte, then the next person who comes along and you tell me this is high fashion, and I'm just standing there with my balls out, I might for a period of time believe that this is high fashion because I'm so not used to it. But eventually the truth is the truth. Now, I'm not trying to say that Andy's trying to get about with his kecks off. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes, to me, we're giving Bielsa vibes. We're giving Bielsa Leeds vibes. Yeah? That's how we play. Like, we have our way of playing. We're going to try and do it. And
that's a good one. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Hey, you didn't like the Emperor's new clothes, but you like.
I like. Yeah, in terms of footballing,
you took it from the abstract. Yeah, you took it from the abstract and put it in a footballing context.
Reality.
Makes sense.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's a transition. That's a transition.
That's a transition. Yeah.
The point, gentlemen, and this is the point I want you to get, is that when I see our team now, it's almost like I always said in year 2, I was going to be way more critical of the side, because in year 1 you get a pass. In year 2, so we conceded 4 goals to Chelsea 2 years in a row. We lost both games to Arsenal. Liverpool have just come and scored 6. So my thing is of course the players missing make a difference. But if you're basically telling me that our style of play, like, to me, Ange is not a good out of possession defensive coach, right? Cool. So when you don't have your best players, it's exacerbating the problem. It's really highlighting his limitations as a defensive coach when he doesn't have high quality defenders.
We're gonna go back and forth on this because it's a good topic. I actually hope we spend a lot more time on this because it's a bit more interesting than the rest of the games. I think a bit more how they win. But do you feel like, devil's advocate, as a host, I've got to do this, do you feel like if you're your best team for 80% of the season, so you do the maths, you're only missing 6 games, 7 games of not having your first team, maybe a bit more, let's say 8, 9. Do you feel like you would still have the same energy with the losses? Or do you feel like you would understand it and go, you know what? We've lost this game without our first team, but when our first team's fit, we win most of our games, or we get results. And we're sitting 6th in the league. Or would you still have the same energy where, we're sitting 6th in the league, but if we actually tightened up a bit more, we could be 4th?
No.
Would you change it? Yeah. How would you do it?
No, because it's like the problems with the team. So it's like the problems with the team come in multiple ways. So it's not just about Ange. And it's not just about the transfer window, and it's not just about the players, and it's not just about the time. It's all of these cumulatively together. And on some weeks, different ones are rearing its ugly head. So sometimes the manager could do more tactically. Sometimes the players are not playing well enough. Sometimes what we didn't spend in the summer is coming back to impact us. So it's like you said before, it's not black and white. It's difficult to sometimes put it down. But my thing that I like to say is that when I look at these players, I think there's 2 ways you can look at it. The manager elevates the players to a certain level, or alternatively, the manager is showing these players aren't good enough to play for what he's looking for. Now, to me, those are 2 different schools of thought. And I think most clubs, if I look at Slot and Enzo versus Ange, I have to ask myself the question. I say, are Slot and Maresca playing their exact version of how they want to play? Or have they tweaked it a little bit for the players that they've got? Yeah? So then I ask the question of, okay, obviously I think Spurs are better than 11th. Yeah, 100%. Now, if our style of play is fully reliant on our players running their fucking arse off every week, yeah, high tempo football, we're just going to burn out. Yeah, we're going to consistently burn out. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both Enzo and Slot have a style of play which can do that, but doesn't rely on doing that for 90 minutes of the game. So both of those clubs' injuries, they have injury-prone players. So when I look at the players that Chelsea have injured at the moment, it's the injury-prone players that are injured. It's not the whole squad. The players who consistently get injured are injured. Same with Liverpool. If players are missing and stuff like that, they're players who have a track record or have a history of being injured. Most of the squads who have a good level of fitness are fit. Do you know what I mean? You can even say Konate was.
But do you know what it is, Jay? Yeah, I think with both Liverpool and Chelsea, I think the term that I like to use is they have controlled aggression. There's like moments they pick and choose their moments when they wish to like either press or be aggressive, essentially. Whereas I think with Ange's game, yeah, it's a consistent thing. Every single time it's a consistent thing. It's almost something, I think if you look at Chelsea last season, the Poch, we kind of were suffering the same thing where his way of playing was consistently running, consistently pushing thing, and that caused a lot, the vast majority of our players to eventually end up on the hospital bed, for lack of a better word.
We asked a question to Jay as well. So let me ask a rap question actually. Is it poison chalice where it's like, is it a constant cyclical narrative where people don't understand what I mean? Like, is it a merry-go-round of chaos where ultimately if the club doesn't rain money, then you've got to be a bit more shrewd with it. And if you're not shrewd with it efficiently, then you're not going to buy the best players, and therefore you're not going to get the better results. And it has a domino effect. A lot of words there. Maybe I could shorten it down to layman terms, which basically means if you don't spend money,
you're laying with men here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Pause.
I want to make it easy. People watching the Caribbean, so you need to make sure I don't go too. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like, right, is it a case of like it's never gonna work then? Because even though people scrutinize your ownership, despite the fact they don't overly invest the way you want it to, at least the way they do it is very efficient. It's quite like kind of track record is quite good. Yeah. Some of the way they're quite shrewd with their business and contracts and money, and that kind of adds to the ethos of the club and the mentality. Yo, we're gonna pay you this, but if you perform, you get this, and it kind of adds to like the gravitas of the team. And then the manager you get in the same, so it works, right? Chelsea's a bit different. We spend more money, but again, that also works because you're telling players, yo, we're gonna make decisions right no matter what. So it's some situation in the case of they just don't spend the money in the right ways. And so therefore, you're always going to have an issue of quality. You're always going to have an issue with squad depth, and the manager's always going to be left with difficulties that we're seeing now.
I think Spurs have a decent track record in the transfer market, but not amazing. You'll have, Archie Gray, who's a potentially very good young player. Hyun-Min Song will come in, who's been a revelation for you over the years, and players. But then you also, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say Timo because Timo Werner's there on loan, but someone of that ilk who'll come in and won't really, is not a ceiling raiser, and won't do very much, and then eventually you'll sell him after a few years. Yeah, Solanke, maybe. I mean, it remains to be seen. But I think at this stage, a lot of us will be surprised if Solanke went on to become a world-class striker. And you had Harry Kane, who was a world-class striker. So it's difficult. With the right recruitment, you can improve on a budget. To get to where we are, we haven't spent masses and masses of money, at least on our most important players. Yes, even 75 million that we spent on Van Dijk, almost world record fee. But shortly after he started performing for us, the ceiling of what a really, really top level defender was worth raised significantly. I mean, basically, after a year after Van Dijk signed for us, most people would have probably said he's worth closer to 100 million or 100 million plus. But the issue is that was a while back now, and there's other people who are recruiting well. Brighton, pound for pound, are the best. Chelsea's recruitment got a lot of criticism last year, but now it looks like a fair number of their signings look like they're turning it around. Whether they will, obviously you've got a Cole Palmer there, but you've got a Mikhail Mudryk there on the flip side. But you're never going to have 100%. The problem is that Liverpool, I think, when we brought in people like Darwin Núñez, when you spend that kind of money, you can't really afford for that to not work. But actually, this particular season, it looks like it may be okay because we have others. We still got that core: Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, and a couple of other players from that time period. When Man United are out here dashing money left, right, and centre, and they're getting more misses than hits. And City just haven't really been spending much in recent years. So you need to spend, but ultimately it's bang for buck. You've got to get the thing that I say about Liverpool, for example, is when Salah eventually does leave Liverpool, and when Van Dijk does eventually leave Liverpool, it'll be very, very difficult for us to replace those players.
Yeah,
because they're that good. They are all-time generational Premier League greats, and so that's going to be very difficult.
That's a good point for me to commit. That's a good point.
Respond after Jay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point for me to come in on because I think that's one of the biggest issues that Spurs have at the moment. Talisman. Like, we lack talisman players who are really like Kullu's doing a decent job at the moment, but if you look at the teams at the top, you got Saka at Arsenal, Odegaard. These players are really moving the needle. Obviously Salah's having an all-timer season at the moment. There's a good chance he's going to do 2020. And
does that break the record? If he was to match, he would match it 2020, right?
It's the Henry record, the 2020.
And if he beats it by 1 or 2,
I think he can do that. So
I think Mike's from mute.
Yeah. Thank God. It's the most sense. It's the most sense Ola's going to make all night. So let's appreciate it.
It's low volume. It's like really low.
It's low volume. Like, turn his fucking mic off. So the point I was making was that Spurs like Chelsea, when they got Palmer, it lifted the FC. The whole FC got lifted by Chelsea getting Palmer because all of a sudden they had a talisman, someone that they could rely on for 30 plus GA in a season. And that
what's so key about that though, Jay? Chelsea, guys, I don't know if you remember, you're not in the Chelsea in the nose, but Armour will tell you, yeah. The Chelsea PR was hyping up this signing before it happened. Do you know why? Because they were saying to us that we're going to sign someone big on deadline day. And even Fab said it. If you saw his tweet, I'll get it up. He was saying something like, Chelsea done something big. They're going to sign a Man City star. Everyone thought it was going to be Foden. And then this guy came out. So my point is that clubs can hire the best people to make these better decisions as well.
Yeah, I don't think it can just be those moments. Like, for example, when Spurs bought Van der Ven and everything, and then they had that game with Chelsea when they got, Romero sent off and the injury, and Maddison's injury. And for the squad that Spurs had, it was a sliding doors moment. You know what I mean? Because even in that game, Son just offside makes it 2-0. Could be game over. So I look at it very logically from the point of view of saying the vicious cycle is you've got to be fair. And I always try and be fair to the board and the club because on the one hand, I'm a fan of Tottenham. And this is the funny thing when I see a lot of fans when they talk about this club. It's almost like they divorce the club from the ownership and they talk shit about the club. I'm like, nah, I don't want people talking shit about my club. So I'm going to try and look for rationale and logic behind their decisions. I look at the other owners in the Premier League and I say to myself, okay, how many owners are definitively better than Levy? Like, definitively better than Levy, all things considered. I say, I'll take FSG because similar context, FSG have done more. Do you know what I mean? So I'll take FSG. I'll say obviously Chelsea and City are unique situations with limitless money. So you can't. To me, I don't see those as comparisons.
Different though. Abramovich, yes. With this new, they've obviously spent a shitload of money up front, but like long term, Chelsea aren't going to be spending that kind of money.
Exactly,
that
but also that's because the
time.
sale though as well is, you know, like the way they got sold, they had to put up that amount of money to buy players.
Yeah,
it was like a clause that Abramovich put in. So
they had to spend they had to guarantee. Yeah, they had to guarantee but it was totally useless because ultimately they would have spent that. It was over a 10-year period. They had to spend a certain number of 100 million, but it was over a 10-year period, which
no, but I will admit Chelsea's approach has been like, it's got there in the end. It took them a bit of time to get there, but this is a decent approach. They spent a lot of money, and I'm like, I'd say Bowley and Egbali, they knew what they were doing in the end because the ends have justified the means. So I'd be like, cool. You can argue, okay, those guys could change Spurs around, but they're also leveraging the Chelsea name and history of winning. Do you know what I mean? So when people say Newcastle owners, Brighton owners, Villa owners, I'd say all these motherfuckers would face the same glass ceiling that Levy's faced in trying to get over the line. None of these guys have shown that they're capable of getting over the line. None of these guys have shown that they're capable of qualifying for like Champions League 2 years in a row. If it's so easy to do what Spurs have done, how come no one else has done it? Do you see what I mean?
So when
anybody can respond.
You know what the issue is with Spurs, and I'll put it like this: is that I unironically think you guys should be the Brighton plus. That's why I always say like Tottenham should actually be that, where they heavily scout. They buy the guys that actually Brighton are buying, but they buy them at obviously a little bit of a slightly young age, but then they peak at Spurs to get them to that top 4, top 6 level, right? And then whenever they want to sell them to generate some money to help them to reinvest into the squad to get those talismans, that's what it should actually be for you guys.
But let's flip that round because it's a great point you made. But let's look at Brighton though. Heavy spending in the summer. Heavy spending. Yeah. They're what? 9th? 9th, is it?
Something like 8th or 9th, yeah. 8th or 9th.
Well, then they're 9th, yeah. No one, and this is the point when I talk about my club and so I'm like, you guys don't criticize Newcastle for being one place above us, Brighton for being one place above us. You don't ever look at these teams, but then you will praise these teams as being a team that we should be looking to in strategy. So I'm like, listen, what Brighton achieved? One season in Europe and a really healthy balance sheet. But from a comparison point of view, they're gonna be like, oh my god, Brighton.
But my argument would be to Jay, I think. Yeah. Okay, what I would say to that, Jay, quickly is that I can hear that point, but I would actually argue I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I'm looking at you guys can already do that. I'm looking at the players they're producing, which will go on to do better stuff, and that's what you want for your team, no?
Yeah, but it's okay.
Ollie, do you want to say something?
Brighton, you've got an environment. Chaz, before you go, Brighton, you've got an environment which is free from pressure. It's free from pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like, because as soon as Caicedo got to Chelsea, he's like, oh my god, the lights, turn off the lights, because that's how it is at a top 6 club. You're going to be scrutinized for everything you're doing, and when you're at a Brighton, when you're at a West Ham, when you're at Brentford, when you're at these teams, we are not watching you 38 games of a season. We don't give a fuck. Yeah? We're seeing your highlights of match of the day and we're saying, oi, you need to come and replace my player in my team. That is the modern football fan. And it's okay. But the thing is that a lot of fans, they don't hold other clubs or the directors of football or the boardroom structures to the same accountability that they hold. Look at United, Ineos. They're talking about Ineos. They were telling me in the summer Ineos are going to change the club. Man's getting dripped on in his press conference. He's getting dripped on. Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, United, you get Ineos, yeah? He is worse than Levy. No one can tell me this guy is taking the Warden's fucking Christmas bonus. He is taking.
He's got a glass of wine.
Exactly. This, First of all,
there's the culprit.
Jay has been ducking the smoke from me all weekend, right?
Wow.
I've messaged him even today when he in the group. He said hello. Didn't respond to my message. So
I said,
no, you didn't.
Merry
You should.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
You showed Firmino.
You and your family, you know.
You showed Firmino. You saw all the other things apart from talk about the game yesterday. Okay, so slow your roll down. Listen, I don't want to talk about Ineos for. Let's talk about Tottenham. Let's not go around the circles. I think Ami made a great point. Right now, in terms of what you are as a club, and you know, you can argue Arsenal at that point with that. You know, you're around that Fulham, Brighton, Newcastle sort of area, right? The only difference is that you got a shiny new stadium, but in reality, the team. And listen, the one thing I don't like about what Tottenham fans say about Levy, which don't get me wrong, he should be criticised because obviously he's the figurehead of your club, and ultimately the buck lies with him, right? Same way as on the team, it buck lies with the manager. But the idea that Levy doesn't spend is such a falsity. He spends money. Then people say, well, actually, no, he doesn't spend on the right people. Well, actually, unless Levy's the one out there going to the scouting, and then I know he does negotiation, but he's not the one doing scouting. He's not a football man like that. Hopefully, you would hope that there are scouts out there who are coming up and bringing the players. So someone said before, Paratici, right? Paratici was one who went out and found some of these players, Kulusevski, the Bentancurs, and so on and so forth. So the guys who work, right? You notice no one ever gives Levy the sort of the credits for getting all those players. But when a player flops, it's Levy's fault. The reality is just that Tottenham right now are just not that good, and I don't know what happens. I mean, obviously there's the manager problem in terms of he seems not to want to be adaptable, or maybe he's just saying those things out in the news basically just to sort of take pressure off his team. But it's crazy for me.
Ollie, could you just argue that using your points, is it not just a case of he can maybe just hire better decision makers?
He can, but the thing is this, right? Ultimately, when it comes down to hiring people, like someone's gonna come in, they're going to do
easy, by the way. I'm not saying
it's not easy.
Yeah.
Look, as a Chelsea fan,
if it was so easy, we'd all be at the top and have like 3 Prem between us.
Exactly. Do you remember, as a Chelsea fan, you guys remember when you had who are the old guys that came? Was it Win Stanley or who are the guys that came from Brighton?
But with Stanley and Stuart, yeah.
That's right.
A lot of Brighton. Yeah.
Sorry, with Stanley himself, and there's like a few other guys that we've got recently. But like, we've got one guy from Monaco who's Stuart, and I think Vivel's at United actually, and he's been cooking a delicious meal over there. So big to him.
So who's the one that left? There was one that left like last year. Vivel was the one that left.
Yeah.
Right. So do you remember when he came in?
He's at Man U for a little bit.
Right. There was a whole hype about Vivel, and then he had to leave, right? Like, it's not easy just to hire people, right? So ultimately, look, Levy, for all his faults, he is going out and trying to hire people. The problem is that, one, the players you guys are bringing are not good. 2, they get overhyped way too quickly. And you can make the same about Arsenal fans and our players. I'll accept it. But also, right now, your son is washed. I'm going to put it out there right now.
Chill out, bro. Chill out, bro.
He is done.
Chill out, homeboy.
You have
seen Hermano.
I've seen the best of Son. It's just forget it. He's not with Son anymore. He's now grandpa.
That's different than saying he's washed. I agree. We have seen the best of Son is behind him, but it doesn't mean he's washed.
He's washed.
Did you know what I mean? Like, chill out, bro. I take washed Son over Martinelli.
Listen, that's fair. But all I'm saying is, I watched Son on Sunday, afraid to take on Trent Alexander-Arnold, and even worse, he wasn't getting behind Arnold, which is like everyone knows Trent's biggest problem is what happens behind him, and he just did not look like he was able to do that anymore. Even remember those things where he cuts him from the left and whips it. Doesn't have it in him anymore. He's like he looks like he's aged overnight.
No,
that's a massive problem for
focusing on the overall.
The thing is, one thing I'll just say, just real quick on that, Cherries, is this is what I mean about tactical setups and stuff like that. You're asking like, it's one of the things that it's been a big improvement with Salah under Slot as well, and Rax can probably like back me up here, is that Salah now is doing way less running and pressing like he was doing under Klopp. So it means when he does get the ball, his decision making, his processing, his movement is a lot tighter. It's a lot more focused. Do you know what I mean? So the way I look at it, and I think this transfer window, Spurs went a little bit too young, but I understand it, because the thing is that when you look at some of these players, right? Look at Gray. He was going to go to Brentford. Yeah. Brentford were promising him a lot of minutes. Yeah. So obviously, for Spurs to take that player from Brentford, we had to promise him X amount of minutes. Do you know what I mean? That stops you getting another player. But you're making the trade-off of saying, I think that Gray is going to be a generational talent, or he's going to be the best in class for his age demographic. So it's worth taking the hit. Same with Odegaard. Like, you look at Bayern Munich, yeah? Because they were both going for Destiny Doué with PSG. And then Tottenham quietly went and bought Odegaard. Yeah. I'm 90% sure, had Bayern known that they couldn't get Doué, they would have bought Odegaard. Yeah. I'm not, because obviously he worked with Company before. Company says he's interested in bits and goings now at Dortmund. He clearly wants a winger. So, I mean, Spurs were interested in Neto. Yeah, that's true. And Spurs couldn't get it over the line. But also, Odegaard has had a serious injury all summer since the beginning of his signing. So it's almost, we haven't even had the benefit of that player. We don't even know whether that player would have flopped or not.
Do you reminds me of? Is this what's the guy who you bought last year? Is it Soldan or Solomon, whoever it is? It feels like this is rinse. That's it. This feels like rinse and repeat. You bought Solomon last year, played for like 3 games, got injured, done for the season.
But the thing about Manuel Solomon, though, Olu, was that he was actually playing really decent for Fulham.
He was all right. He had a couple of games.
He had like a couple of games for Fulham, and then he went to these guys, got injured, and never played again, bro. Like,
but this is Odegaard came from Burnley, didn't he? Right?
He did. And he was actually
Burnley.
He played well.
As well.
Joined Tottenham and got injured. I'm telling you, your team is cursed. There's a curse right now on Tottenham, and not even Yaya Touré's witch doctor can lift that curse.
But let's talk about, before we end off here, like, right, what could they do this season? And don't say Ange could be even more tactical flexible, because he's not going to be in it. Like, he's just not going to change. What's the outcome you see? Jay will go last on this. Like, what's the outcome you can see with Spurs? Will they get some players back and they will like average out? Would it be a case of they'll end up being better than we think, and football is not like both ways, doesn't go all the way up, doesn't go all the way down? Or do you see much the same, him getting sacked? Is it cyclical narrative, like I said before? Is it vicious cycle where they get rid of him and here we are again?
I think they'll stick with Ange, because I don't think it'll get so bad that they'll look to get rid of him, especially with these players out injured. The problem is, the worry that I have for them is, it's already been shown that Van de Ven and Romero are pretty injury prone. So even if they do come back from these injuries, who's to say they're not going to get another injury again, right? And so this is the difficulty they're going to have. It turns out, if it transpires, and it seems like it's so, that they've got 2, good centre halves, and they're constantly going to be injured, then they're on a hiding to nothing. And ultimately, if maybe they could win the Europa League. Look, if they won the Europa League, I hope they do win it. To be honest, because as long as Man United don't win it, I don't care. It'd be quite funny also, because Arsenal fans, if Spurs won a trophy, a European trophy, then the Arsenal fans would not be happy.
Spurs would win it, funny. And it would mean Arsenal they have a European trophy with Arsenal.
They will find a way. Listen, I'll tell you this: they would win 1-0 or still find a way to Spurs it up. Okay, so
of course,
look, I'm not discounting that possibility. I think there's a strong possibility of that. I think they may just finish in and around the kind of Conference League, maybe Europa League places. That's about it.
Sorry, I was going to say, someone R9 says something about tactics has got nothing to do with defending, which is like totally crazy. Like, the worst part is this: as a Spurs fan, I'm guessing
Adam's on it. Shout out Adam, remember?
Yeah,
he's on it with you. It's like, what do you mean?
Exactly. Like as a Spurs fan, especially, you went to Man City and Ange dropped his back line all the way back because he basically tactically thought, I'm going to change the way I play. And I get it. Some teams away from at home play differently to the way they play away from home, right? But the fact that you can say that you can't just drop your, like, from the first few minutes, you could just see how high and how easy it was to bypass that midfield for Spurs. The idea that you can just say tactically, hey, guys, just keep it tight. Just drop back to the edge of your thing and don't let the ball go over the top. It's crazy.
Defending is way more about structure and collectively rather than any individual defender. Like if you haven't got a solid structure, then you can have the best players in the world. If Van Dijk was playing and everybody else was all over the place, it wouldn't work. You need someone to hold that structure. Defense is so much more about the sum of the people rather than individual ability, for example.
100%. And quick questions when you move on to Liverpool and the title. Ahmed, what do you see happening to Ange? Very briefly.
Ange probably is going to survive until next season. He'll probably survive. I actually think, he'll probably get them to a final, lose, and he'll probably get sacked after that.
What final is that? Carabao Cup?
Either Carabao or FA Cup, one of those two will get there, and then he'll basically get sacked afterwards because you won't win it.
Okay, fair enough. That's interesting. And Rat, you said that he would.
I think he'll stay in the job, and they'll be maybe just outside or just inside the European places.
I think they'll peter out. I think they'll average out. Sorry, I think they'll end up like 7th Conference League kind of positions. Because even so, right, even though they're this bad, I think Aston Villa's win pulls them away from the kind of pack. Because let me show you guys the Premier League table from to Liverpool. Guys, smash the like button as well. Big up. I'm not going to say your name. Destroyer, mad thing, for the super chat. Big up the super chat. We're going to read that out in a minute. Big up for the super chat as well. Really appreciate that. But here's the table, man.
Is that really destroying things? Really? That size? Really?
Whoa.
No, we don't need to do his name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
guys.
It's a family show. No, I respect you and the contribution to the J. Andrew 24-25 Christmas Tree Fund.
Guys, I was so wrong. Big everyone in the building. I was so wrong.
I ain't even in top 4. You are fake
No,
news,
JJ. I'm not even mocking where you are because like I come home with beginnings. I was 12 2 years ago. I know how it feels. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
I thought the gap between 4th and 10th was smaller than that. It's 8 points.
It's 8 points, Jesus.
That's a lot of points, by the way. That's a lot of points.
A lot of points. I am unsure whether we are going to make up those 8 points. Let me be very clear.
Rack and Ahmed, is this not worse than we thought? Like, they're actually quite far way off.
Right now, I think the best that Spurs can achieve, look, Nottingham Forest, I mean, who knows whether they can keep that going, but Forest, no one predicts Forest, right?
I think right now,
Aston Villa would be the ones who probably be 5th and 6th. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Aston Villa, Man City would be 5th and 6th in the season, as it stands.
Newcastle's confusing.
Man, look, it's just City are completely unpredictable right now, and I can't guarantee they're going to finish above Newcastle.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. New information comes out.
Because the issue for me is that Newcastle have been so topsy-turvy. 1 minute they're scoring 4 against Ipswich, the next game they're losing 4-2 against Brentford. So it's like I don't know Newcastle. I don't know. I can't trust them right now to be consistent, if that makes sense. And these guys are playing 1 game a week too.
It's true. But anyway, man, talking about league positions. Rax raising his eyebrows 3 times there. Liverpool.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Who keep winning? Actually, that's a lie. They drew the last 2 games, but they bounced back with another win. And Chelsea dropped points, who, for context, were the nearest rivals at the time, still are. And Liverpool, man. And yes, I'll let Rack say his piece, but yes, we can argue Spurs made it easy, just like they did against Chelsea. I think Chelsea.
There's no argument. I
think Rack's very logical. He's not going to come in and say, yeah, the team was great. You've done very well for what you could do. I think Spurs play better against Chelsea and Liverpool, in my opinion, because they had their first team centre backs there. I think they're performing better. But Rack, still cool about your team, man. Still give your team praise, right?
Yeah, look, Spurs didn't do themselves any favours, but on the flip side, we exploited everything they gave us and more, and we did take our foot off the pedal a little bit. I was enjoying the game. At one point, we were 5-1 up, and I was like, you know what? I'd just because I was having so much fun. There was like half an hour left. I was like, I don't mind conceding a goal if we score a goal. And in the end, we conceded. In the end, we conceded 2 goals and scored 1. It was fine. It was just one of those fun games. And I don't think at that point the result was beyond Spurs at that point. And yeah, look, we've had some challenges this season, and whenever we've been tested, we've reacted, whether it be last minute disappointment against Newcastle and stuff like that. Even away at Arsenal when don't get me wrong, Arsenal played well in the first half, and really we should have won that game. The second half we should have gone at them, especially when they were crippled. We should have gone at them and won that game. But still, point away at the Emirates is fine. And I've said it for a while now, but I'm confident we'll win the league.
Oh, so like you're saying, so what's changed in terms of? I haven't heard you say it before on this channel. Are you saying that now it's halfway through the season, basically you've seen enough, and the points and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Because by the way, for context, the gap has closed. Because Chelsea closed it, so it's not like
Chelsea
the gap has
closed it.
Yeah, you still got a player, so in theory, it's still tight. Yeah. But I think, are you saying that on the assumption being Chelsea? Yeah.
No, that we will probably lose games and we'll probably drop points. This is the thing that I always struggled when I've been on Nigal's channel a few times, and he's like, Liverpool are going to have their blip. Liverpool are going to have their blip, and I was like, sure, but we may have a blip, but it doesn't mean Arsenal can't have another blip. Once you've had one, it doesn't mean that for the rest of the season you cannot have a blip. You've done your blip and that's it. Like, let's be and ultimately, I think we're looking pretty strong right now. That's what's giving me so much confidence. We're not giving away many chances. When we want to be cagey, we can, and when we want to obviously go at teams, we can do that. So I'm confident right now.
Give us
some wisdom. Yeah, no. So I've said this. Actually, again in the group chat, I think the Liverpool are quote unquote gettable in a game. The problem is they've got such an X factor in Mohamed Salah that no one else has.
Exactly.
I think Palmer's the next thing possibly you can say. You could possibly say sometimes Saka, but I don't think anyone is as much as an X factor as what a Salah is. And I think like it's just so, it's, as a non-Liverpool fan, it's so frustrating just watching that Liverpool team, just knowing that there's almost an eventuality that Salah's going to do something out of nowhere that's just going to change the game. And it started when he hit the crossbar, and he did a skill, and like it just got out, wriggled out, hit the crossbar with his right foot. I just thought, that's it. Like Liverpool will win this game because Salah is just on it already.
I did think Spence defended him quite well though.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can defend him. Do you know what? He's getting almost to that messy level of you can do whatever you want. You can defend him, but he will still get an assist or get a goal. And as long as, look at Newcastle. That Newcastle game, Liverpool should not have been in that game because Newcastle were just in St. James's Park, hard place to go. Once the crowd get behind them and once Newcastle sort of get steam, it's hard to stop them. And Salah was just so inevitable. Like he still drags him through to get a 3-3 draw. What was the game when you went down to 10 men? Again, Salah is just inevitable. And that's the frustrating thing. Yeah, Fulham. Like any other team would not have won that game.
So, Olu, to challenge you, are you stating that because you've stated a fact, but you haven't stated an opinion? What's your opinion based off the facts?
My opinion is that I am 80% towards Liverpool winning the league. I'm still going to reserve 20% as an Arsenal fan.
Why?
Because I'm a fan. I always say this. I'm a fan.
What about Chelsea? What about Chelsea? Are you giving them anything?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm always going to give 0% to the other teams. But as in the position we're in right now, I'll give 80% to Liverpool. Right, and I'm just saying this because I like to be realistic and just like sort of tell the truth. I'm a fan, right? So there's a hope in me that Arsenal will come back. But as long as Salah continues to be who he is and continues to sort of, what is it, 20, double digits goals and assists at this point is crazy. And so unless there's a massive fall-off by him and the rest of the team fall off as well, it's going to be hard to catch up with Liverpool. So I'm going to give him 80%.
So what's different? What's different this season, in your opinion, Olu? Yeah, I'll get Ahmed to speak as well and Jay. It's basically the same team. So are we saying that Slot
midfield?
Are we saying that Klopp underperformed?
No, midfield. It's the midfield. I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just say this. I'll say this very quickly and I'll be quiet. I think it's the midfield. I said last year.
Because you had the same players last year, by the way.
Yeah. I said changing 3 midfielders. Like no team ever changes 3 midfielders and just goes with a new one and expects it to gel straight away, right? There's gonna be a bedding period. They've had a whole year now of playing football together, and Gravenberch has picked up a form that no one expected as well. And
no one expected. I agree.
So once you have the midfield, I'm not a coach. I haven't got any sort of badges, but I can say most teams would say the midfield is the most important place. You control the midfield. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. I want to say something. Anyways,
wow,
you control the midfield, and ultimately, most of the times you control the game, right? Look at Barcelona. Look at all the great teams. Always had great midfields, and I think this Liverpool midfield is gelled and has hit. They just basically they're playing well this season, and then you add the X factor. So I think it's just more of a case of that extra year, and even playing under. Because also, I don't think this is. And I could be wrong because I didn't watch much of. Was it Feyenoord he managed? Feyenoord, right?
Yeah.
I didn't watch much of Feyenoord because I don't watch Dutch football. But I still see remnants of Klopp's style of sort of rock and roll football mixed in with more control. So I think they could still do what they were doing before, but now it just seems a lot more measured. And that for me is just.
Very and also, big up the Destroyer Super Chat where he talks about Gravenberch Player of the Year, in my opinion. Ajax, I mean, he supports Ajax, Built Destroyer. I think he's saying in Ajax, and he rated him, but I think the first season didn't work out for Liverpool. But yeah, this season, like Olu's saying, is very similar but more controlled. And Rak will tell you as well, Salah's gone into a new dimension where everyone thought he would not fall off, but we use like history, which tells you when players hit a certain age, they start declining. And he's obviously. Now we've got the peak of science and medical and all that. So he's actually improving because now he's on double digits GA. Rak will tell you as well. This is a record. No one's ever hit at this point in the season. So clearly the style of football or Salah himself has improved and he's peaking at the age of 32 going on 33. So Rak, before we move into GA, what are you saying?
I think there's a few things that have come together. I think for sure, like McAllister had a good season last season. Szoboszlai wasn't as effective, and Gravenberch basically did nothing last season. We didn't get Zubimendi in the summer, and Slot started trusting Gravenberch, and he repaid that faith. And even though a lot of Liverpool fans have been critical of Szoboszlai, he does work really hard. And I know some people say, "What you spent 60 million on a guy who's just running around or not." But he's technically adept. Like he hasn't been his super creative as a lot of fans thought he would be. But he has a function within the team, and he's to some extent enabling other people to have some freedom. Konate has come in and he stayed fit up until obviously this recent injury. That's added solidity. Trent, I think the adjustment in the way that we play has made Trent more defensively sound. And apart from that, it's just been little tweaks. It hasn't been like a massive revolution. And ultimately, that's proved enough. And sometimes that shows that you don't need massive revolutions to jump up 1 or 2 spaces. And look, of course, City have fallen off. That's fair to say. I think Arsenal, and I think Arsenal are behind, obviously, clearly behind where they were as well. I mean, look, if City were at their maximum, I think it would be difficult for anybody to catch them. I had more hope of going toe to toe with Arsenal, but they've also dropped off us, and it's making it easier for us. Chelsea, at flip side, have been a bit of a revelation, and it'll be interesting to see how far they can push us. But we'll see. There was a lot of football left to go, and if Salah gets injured, Van Dijk gets injured, we're in trouble.
Of course,
but.
Standard.
We haven't had that. Salah's always been pretty reliable. Like he's had maybe a few weeks off in injuries. That's about it.
Yeah, I was going to press you into a response. So are we saying here, from now, if you don't win it, is it a catastrophe? Because for me, it would be. And why is it not a catastrophe? Based on what you just said, based on what the panels have come acknowledged, why would it not be?
The reason is, Ches, because you use these emotive words. You use these words. Is it a catastrophe? Is it a disaster? Is it a bottling? Is it a bottling? Because we all know with those words, there's certain emotions. There's certain. It makes you just physically. It makes you jolt back, right? And I don't want to say that. I would be devastated. I'm going to use my own emotive word. I'd be devastated if we don't win the league from here.
Yeah, I think Liverpool not winning it would be a shock. Honestly, maybe if Arsenal put in a mad run, then. But go on, Jay. Jay, you haven't said your piece. We need to move on to Arsenal. What are you saying?
I was just like, no, listen. I Liverpool. Like what I saw at the weekend was a serious team and an unserious team. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you say that again, just a little bit louder?
I saw a serious team and a wholly unserious team. There you go. Right? That's what I saw. So the thing about Liverpool is they came in and they were here to do business. Like they came to do business. It's a business, man. They weren't messing about. Like Spurs were like, hey, Spurs were like, let's press these guys and let's see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool are like, listen, whatever we're gonna give these guys to take the win, we'll give them. Yeah. So they came in and they gave a professional job, and that told me for the remainder of this season, whenever Liverpool play unserious sides, they're gonna slap them up. Yeah, like that's the kind of mind that Liverpool have got. And there's a lot of unserious sides in the Barclays. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of unserious teams. Yeah. Hey, listen, I've already covered the fact that my team is unserious, Ches. Let's not you know what I mean? Let's move on.
I'm just reminding you politely, innit?
They are leading the unserious pack right now. They are.
Bro, listen. Yeah. Spurs have a goal difference of like plus 14, and they're 11th. Yeah, that's unserious behavior. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. That's what I mean. So the thing about Liverpool is obviously they played well and they could have scored more goals, but again, you know, like I was kind of saying before going into the game, Spurs still scored 3 goals. Do you know what I mean? They still conceded 3 to Newcastle. You know, they still gave up chances to Girona. So teams can get at them, and teams that are a bit more structured, focused. The problem is that there's not a huge number of teams that can press and attack them, but also keep it solid the other way simultaneously. And then also with a manager like Slot, he can adjust things on the fly. So he can make in-game adjustments, which are very fatal to the other team. And unless you're a tactical manager who is in real time analyzing these adjustments that Slot's making and then saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this to counter this. And there is managers in the Premier League capable of doing that. It's just a case of saying like it's a game by game basis. So there's certain game states Liverpool will struggle in more than playing an end-to-end basketball game with very confident strikers. You know, like people haven't spoken about Gakpo, but he's in good form. Gakpo's in good form, and he's been playing well broadly since the beginning of the season. They got Nunes, they got Jota. Do you know what I mean? They've got Salah. Elliott's coming back from injury. Chiesa hasn't even sniffed it. So they've got big firepower. And I think in these situations, when you're a team at the top, that's what you want. You want firepower. You want players that can get you out of trouble if you're not playing well. You want players that can score the first goal and change the game state. And I think out of all the teams at the top, Liverpool have the most players who are in the best form. And that's what's going to carry them, especially over the next few weeks. And especially in these tight games. Not that Spurs was a tight game, but still scoring that first goal, getting the game state, scoring the goal just before halftime, making intelligent decisions on the break. That's not homogenous. That's not every team that makes these decisions in real time. Like, they have players in form that are making good decisions, and they look good. They look the strongest team in the Premier League at the moment. And at worst, they look the most consistent. That's what I would say.
You know what I would say, yeah, is that I think obviously Liverpool, they've been looking good. They've been playing good. I think the manager's done a great job there in terms of what he's done. But sometimes, the time I like to use, sometimes, yeah, your team can get into form too soon. You know what I mean? And that, I think the worry, if you're a Liverpool fan is that you're really in a good amount of form now. You've been cooking for quite a while now. It's November, it's almost January now. You know what I mean? Still a few more months left remaining. When that trough might begin to, start, you know what I mean? That's when you got to start thinking about it. That's what I'm saying. Because honestly,
Ahmed, great point. And I like the fact that it's not a positive Liverpool stream and we're not singing "You Never Walk Alone" together. But what I would say is that is dependent on my club and Olu's club. I'll tell you why. Because if we are performing inconsistently, then even if they slip up, they're still going to win the league. Point in cases, the last time they dropped points, Arsenal also dropped points. Literally. The two times they dropped points, Arsenal also faltered. Which means that in their mind, it's like we can even have an off day and we know we're going to bounce back. And Arsenal will do a Arsenal.
They still got to face Stone Cold Sean Dyche, man. So there's still hope.
Yeah, we know about that one. We know about that one. That's
not easy.
Not easy, bro.
Now give me a hell yeah. Sorry,
he's upgraded, man. He's got a new skill set, man. He's getting his team to press now. They're playing pressing football. He's updated the model. You know what I mean? He's got the new Sean Dyche Plus. So, my God,
right.
But
yeah, man. Raxel here to answer the question. There's a question for him that I started.
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm listening. I've been listening.
Literally, moving to Arsenal, guys. Run up the lights.
Before we go to that, one thing that annoyed me is I am now like 70%. I love percentages. I'm 70% sure that the game that got cancelled against Everton would have definitely been a loss. I think Everton would have beaten them, and the gods are just smiling on Liverpool this year. Because remember, McAllister was meant to be banned, and now he served his ban, so he doesn't get. So now he gets to play that game.
You never know, Olu, man. They might need these wins and drop off, and the fall becomes even sweeter. You never know.
Listen,
we
got 97 points and lost the Premier League. You can luck schmuck. That's what I say.
You know, it would be funny if you didn't win the league from here, though. It would be funny. Because
objectively, I can say it would be funny too. Objectively, I can say it would be funny.
It's like, oh yeah, it's done. Like, if you didn't win it from now, it's like, what the hell happened? Like, you were so.
Yeah, but let's be real. Like, you got a guy here whose club was 50 points by like halfway through the season, most amount of points, and we still didn't
win the league.
Yeah, but like you're just
Jay, listen, Jay.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Festive. No, whoa.
If you have got new rules. You
opened up the bottler. Hold on. You opened up the bottler type conversation, and now I want to contribute. You're telling me to hold back.
Listen, unless you got a Premier League title,
got 50 points halfway through the season,
unless you got a Premier League title, you're not allowed to be in this conversation.
Oh,
okay?
It's not like that, bro. Listen, obviously, like
put your hands up.
Years ago, bro.
Put your hands up if you need to talk.
Listen. I appreciate, bro.
Step out of this conversation.
I respect you. I respect you.
Your pay grade. This is above your pay grade. This is above your pay grade.
That's
right
that's
now.
Fine. It sounds like it's above your pay grade as well. You're talking about winning championships. It's been a while since you've done that.
I've seen this. I'm just saying to you, I've seen this.
Boys, one set. Let me just say goodbye to Ahmed.
Bro, you hadn't even discovered masturbation when you last.
Big up, bro. Big up, bro. Have a nice one, guys.
Yeah, of course. We'll speak soon.
See you, bro. Take care.
This is like watching two bums fight outside the club. Basically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, boys,
you're one of the bums, bro.
I don't know what you
like. You're one of the what?
No, you just bum you. That's all.
Bro, you're the bum too, bro. Just because you live in a shed doesn't make you not a bum. You're still a bum too.
Let's not talk about your partner.
Anyways, because we're waffling on here. Let's talk about. Let's
continue.
Rax, you're mute. You're mute. What's going on, boys? Rax on mute.
No,
what's going on?
I was just saying. Can you get these guys a show? Just them two, an hour. Just
yeah,
these two. Just
guys. Forget me like Just talk on like midnight
on Cherries' channel every Wednesday between 9 and 10.
Shabid, oh my lord, these two are so funny. That's so dumb. But let's move on to Arsenal, man. Because still got to talk about Arsenal and Chelsea. Saka, firstly, I know it's negative. We'll start with negative, but Odegaard was missing and it was very, very detrimental. Is it going to be the same case, Oli? Are you worried? Are you worried? Actually, that's better.
Am I worried? Of course, I'm worried. I mean, he's been a large percentage of our goals, large percentage of our assists this season. Obviously, I've always like everyone who's always sort of like doubted Saka. I've always said, would you rather play Arsenal with or without Saka, right? And the answer has always been, we'd rather play without Saka. So now we're about to see when Arsenal play without Saka, what the reality will be. My thing is this. My thought is always, Arteta is the second best paid manager in the league, right? The second, behind Pep. If he's earning all that money, it's his job to find the solution to the problem. There's no two ways. I don't make excuses about injuries. You choose the team, you choose the squad you start the season with, right? He signs off in it. But at end of transfer window, he said, this is my squad. I want to go into it. So now there's a problem that your star player, right? And people make arguments between Odegaard and him. You can make that argument if you want to. I'm not going to do that. Now that he's injured, now he has to find a solution to that problem. Now, whether it's Martinelli, whether it's Jesus, whether it's, I don't know, Nwaneri, I don't know. He needs to just figure out and just keep this rolling, because ultimately he has said, I'll put it this way. He has said, and the Arsenal players have said they want to win something this season, right? And before they used to avoid saying those things, right? But this season they've come out and said they want to win something. And actually, I believe that even Saka said he wants to win the title. So ultimately, they've set the stall out there. They've put it to the world. They want to win something.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of adversity shouldn't change that. So
probably not.
If Saka's injured for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, do your forward planning. If you have to buy something from in a transfer window, do it. Or
this is a good mentality.
Do it.
Yeah, it's a good mentality.
And if not, the players you've got, figure out a system that gets them to work.
So, Oli, let's ask you a question here, yeah? So, Odegaard was out. You ran, your form kind of ran down the hill. Literally, like you didn't. I think in 4 games you didn't win. A few red cards here and there. There wasn't much creativity. Heavily reliant on set pieces. Even against Chelsea, you performed better, but not the standard you'd expect. So, you saying to me, what's the consequences of this season in general? Let's talk a bigger picture. If you don't win, injuries aside, Arteta's there. What's your? I haven't got your opinion in a while. What's your verdict on this season? What do you have to do? What's the minimum objectives?
At this point of Arsenal's quote-unquote phase, right? And I use that in that people love to mock a lot. It's title, right? It's title or bust. We've gone past the point of, with the scrappy guys who used to be 8th, and now we're just sort of like, just trying to be back with the big boys. At this point right now, start of the season, everyone says, who's going to win the league? Relax yourself, okay?
I put a post on there for you to read.
Relax yourself. At the start of the season, everyone says,
I love the Nelka, by the way. I like it.
Oh, Nelka was amazing, especially if you saw him at Arsenal. Oh God,
I didn't get to watch. I was really small, but like apparently, he was really good.
Oh, he was amazing. He was actually rated at that time more than Henry, which is crazy now because obviously Henry's.
Yeah, that's true. I heard about that.
Look, we're gonna have the conversation about Henry Salah at some point, but
also the Nelka situation was also crazy because obviously he went to Real Madrid, failed, went to PSG, failed, came to Liverpool on loan. A lot of Liverpool fans were saying we should sign him, and I really, really wanted to. But he actually failed at Liverpool. He wasn't good. He ended up going to Bolton, right?
Yeah,
and then he went to Chelsea after Bolton.
That's where he found.
So it was like a bit of unconventional.
Unconventional route. I don't think he was really geared up to be a superstar. I don't think
he was. No, he had
superstar potential, but he didn't have the mentality to be like.
Not so he had the mentality. So the problem is that he had his brothers were very much in control of his career. So when because for the guys who were too young, there was a time when you could sign players at any time during the season. There was no transfer. So you literally could be in November and your best player could leave. And I think his brother against his.
And what happened to Ashley Cole? Cole, sorry. Andy Cole. Andy Cole went from Newcastle to United, like in November.
Yeah. So those things used to happen, right? And his brother's going to his ears, and then he went. Anyways, we're sort of sidetracking. I think look, for me, start of the season, everyone says title contenders, Arsenal, Man City, maybe Liverpool, right? So for me, it's title or bust. Now, when people talk about the Arteta in, Arteta out thing, I don't really get too involved in that because I know that the ownership have got a way of keeping coaches in longer than they should be. And I say this as someone who supports St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams, the NFL team, right? And I'll tell you, very quick side notes. There was a guy called Jeff Fisher who was the head coach, and he was basically mid. He was the definition of mid. Every single season, you play 16 games, right? Or before you play 16 games, and the St. Louis Rams would go 8-8 every single season. Mid, literally definition of mid, and they kept him for so long. So I know for a fact they're not going to drop him, regardless. For me, I will still put a portion of the blame on him because ultimately, he has had the money. I think he's a very good tactical coach. So if he's not getting the best out of his team and he's letting Liverpool run away and win it by 9 points, that's an absolute disaster for me. Because ultimately means that with all the investment, all the tactical...
if Liverpool win the league, period, it's a disaster.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's even more of a disaster.
I think if Chelsea also finish above Arsenal...
liquidate the club. Liquidate the club.
Because it's not even that. Is it? Even they finish above us, but it's competitive. It's not good enough.
No. If they finish above you, they finish above. Like as in, like
no. It's all context because if they finish 2 points behind Liverpool,
it doesn't matter. If they finish above you, it's above you.
Yeah, and also, Cherries, you got me something. We only play you twice a season outside the cup game, so we cannot affect you that much. And the first game we drew, right? So there's only 3 more points that we can win. So the reality is that unless
Ollie, I misquote what I meant to say. I meant to say like if we finish like 1 point behind you, for example.
Yeah, but we can't control you. But we can't control your games. If we win all our games and you lose 1 or 2, you're still going to be 1 point or so behind us. So we can't control that. You see what I mean? Like, it's only games we can control is when we play against you. So it is. So I mean, I've said sidetrack, and I missed the Chelsea. I missed the Chelsea section. You
haven't touched on it, but we'll end up after this.
Oh, that's fine. Remember, Ches, I said to you, and I'm man enough to always admit this. I said to you, I didn't believe anything good was going to happen with Chelsea for at least 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I am totally wrong. I was totally wrong about that.
But Olu, nobody did. Who after last season?
Extreme though, right? He was one of the extremist ones.
I was an extreme. I thought
he said to me that you're not going to win anything. At least you got a screenshot, right? He said to me, "You're not going to win anything in the next 2 or 3 years." To be fair,
I thought Chelsea would be good this season, and I remember saying to Kes pre-season, I was like, "Fun time's over." With Chelsea, like I expect you to be good.
No, I actually do remember these things. Jay did say,
I was like, I'm not going to make jokes about Chelssie anymore because I am
saying that because he hasn't been on my channel. And
I haven't been on channel. I'm man enough to say. I thought
he's not man enough to listeners. He's not man enough to say. He's just saying it so he doesn't get cooked. That's what it is.
Hey, Ollie, you cheeky boy. That's
what I'm saying. He doesn't want to get cooked. He's like, he's folding his hands up. He's like, I'm sorry. Fuck you now. Stand by your words.
Hey, Jay, man says it halfway through the season in December. Oh, yeah, I got it wrong, guys.
Sorry.
In December. It's Christmas Day in 24 hours.
Yeah,
he's like, sorry.
Chess, what sort of establishments are you running right now? We said before, we had ground rules. Unless you've seen a title being picked up by your captain, you have to put your hands up before you can talk, okay? And Jay has broken those rules. So, Ches, I need you to take control of this ruffian, this ragamuffin, okay?
Man's still doing nostalgic title drops, Kes.
Ruffian is so well-spoken.
This ragamuffin.
Ruffian.
Bro, he wants to do nostalgic prop.
I'm just saying.
Olu's upset, that Salah, if he wins the league this season,
Jay, good segue. Let's get back to Arsenal.
There's serious conversations about Salah Henry. Let's be honest.
Oh no, it's. I think the conversations can start. I think the only problem is
you
this.
think it can start now?
You can start the conversations now.
You think so?
You can start it now. The only problem is this.
Body of work: Salah versus Henry. It's getting. If Salah wins another league, to me, I think it gets very techie.
You can have the conversations. The problem is this: Henry's got the streets. That's something Salah doesn't have.
Does he have the streets?
That is very true.
Henry's got
he has the streets now, but
Jay, even deep this year, I'll interrupt quickly. Even the Hazard Salah debate, despite Salah scoring,
Salah's gone clear, bro.
But Jay, let me land my point. Even though Salah has scored exponentially more goals than Hazard, and he's won the Champions League, a large majority of people, even Liverpool fans, will be like Roms, would even say Hazard's a better player than Salah. It's like when you have the streets, when you have like the core, like the people's hearts, it's different, isn't it?
But my thing
people actually rate Mahrez over Salah, by the way. It's a very common thing.
That's silly.
The wrong people.
I'm gonna ask a question. Has Salah had a better season than Mahrez's season at Leicester?
Right now,
I don't think he has.
I mean, right now, he's on track to do a better season. To me, he's on track to do a better season.
But Mahrez's
Leicester season was insane.
No, Mahrez's season is because of the context. Because Mahrez's season was crazy because of the context, because of what Leicester achieved, right? I that season, I loved watching Mahrez play. He was exceptional. But Salah also broke the goal scoring record as a wide forward.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
He's doing stuff now. So we can all talk about individual periods of time. Was this season better? That season better? Did he achieve? He scored 10 goals in 10 games in a row or something. All this kind of stuff. No one I don't want to have that. I don't necessarily want to have that player debate, because with Hazard, it's a little bit different, because people. What does it mean to be? What does it mean to be a better player?
Oh,
everyone. No, but
okay. You know what it means, right? You know what it means.
Okay, Ches. We can do this. Ches, we can do this. But go on. You define what it means to be a better player.
He's like, fine. Ask your stupid question.
Hey, listen. I'm not here to debate how people feel. I can speak for myself in it. I can only speak for Ches. I can't speak for Joe Blogs. That's the name of Joe Blogs,
but this is beautiful, right? So. Because now when we come back to when I say you can have the arguments, now you can see there's levels before you even get to Henry.
There's layers. It's not as simple.
Exactly.
He scored 20 goals.
Exactly.
Goals, he scored 100.
Exactly. Because basically, I'll put it this way, right? You know when you play like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, and you get towards the boss, you got to find you got to fight like Balrog, then E-Honda, and so on, and Zangief, and so on and so forth before you can get to.
That's the wrong way. Yeah, that's the wrong way around. What Street Fighter are you playing?
I know. I was playing the Nigerian version. That's why the bootleg version.
The market version, isn't it?
Exactly. And I'll put it this way: until Salah gets an opposition stadium chanting his name, as Henry did when we played Portsmouth, he can't step to the goal.
I mean, that's your
bar. Random fans on the South Coast chanting your name. That's your barometer.
Let's just wrap up the debate now. Just finish. listen, I saw Kobe Bryant go to different stadiums and people chant MVP, right? I saw the same with Tom Brady, and I saw the same with Thierry Henry. Now, let's Salah get to that, then I'll put him in the same.
I think in all seriousness, yeah, the debate is going to be everlasting because,
of course,
it's all about eras, isn't it? Like age groups. It all depends who you're talking to, how the conversation's busted based off the metrics. Like that's what I'm saying. It's not as easy as it's like GA.
But
it's not a GA conversation because, like,
but Ches, I think it's but for me, when I'm judging like these players now, obviously I see Salah as greater than Kane.
This is a question and a half, by the way. This is a question.
But I look at Salah specifically. When I look at the Hazard debate, the thing that I always kind of look at a lot of the time is Champions League performances at the same time, and people don't really talk about it. But Salah is like Salah's Champions League performances compared to Hazard, they're so much greater. It's difficult to even acknowledge them in the same sphere, because not only was Salah playing in a more competitive Champions League era, also, he's putting up better numbers, more performances, like he's got more longevity. Well, maybe not, because Hazard started at Hazard to me was a domestic bully. And the time that Hazard was dominating the Premier League wasn't even the best league in Europe, right? That to me is negative marks. It wasn't. Because when Hazard was dominating, that was the Messi Ronaldo era.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, I was trying to rack my brain too.
So we weren't the best league in the world at the time, and he also wasn't turning up in Europe. But when Salah was on the scene, and City and Liverpool making Champions League finals, and we had a Spurs Liverpool final, and we had an Arsenal Chelsea Europa League final. We were dominating Europe. The English leagues were the best leagues in the world at that time period. So when I look at Salah
in the final against Arsenal, that's quite good.
But that's what I'm saying. When I look at Salah's performance levels,
he will be scoring the final. So what?
Yeah, but that's my point. As in, like, he's clear of Salah now. He's clear of Hazard now, and I'm starting to look at him towards Henry. And I'm saying,
no.
If he does 2020, listen, Olu, I'm saying if Salah does 2020 and wins a Premier League title, then the conversations are there to be had and dissected.
The conversation can't be avoided.
I think start the conversations now, because I think he's got a body of work that actually can put him in the
you don't need to wait for that
conversations. I don't think you have to wait if he wins the league. I think that what he's done, like I said, he's inevitable. He's such a great player, and I love the fact I've deflected away from Arsenal. So great work by me there. But he's at that level right now where you can put him and ask the questions of him versus the greats. I'm just saying that, and maybe because I lived through that era. And you know how, like, if you speak to your pops or something like that, or you speak to an older person, you'll talk about, they watched Pele, or they watched Maradona, they watched Cruyff, and so on and so forth. And they talk about how good they were and how these players are not as good as them. I think there is a little bit of bias in terms of that. But as someone who's watched those two eras, and of course the personal affliction I have towards Thierry Henry and what he did, I'm always going to have a bias towards Henry. That's just natural.
Of course, everyone's going to have to go on. I'll say it enough.
Look, Henry's emergence came at a time when the Premier League was on the rise, right? There are more and more international players were coming to the Premier League. We started performing in Europe. He came in to replace Anelka, which I think was in 98, 99. So just before Man United won the Champions League. So there's all this other stuff that goes along with it, right? And then obviously the Premier League now is right now the undisputed best league in the world, or highest. I'd say some people would dispute it, but I'd say top level, most viewed, all these kinds of different metrics. I don't think. Look, if you ask me who the Premier League GOAT is, I still say Henry. But what annoys me is when people aren't willing to have debates about stuff. And I think what Salah has achieved, and especially if he wins a Premier League, look, this season we are going for the Premier League and we're going for the Champions League. We're going for both, right? If we win both,
right. I'm telling you for a fact, if he wins the double, and gets 2020.
Like it won the Ballon d'Or.
No, you'd have betted Henry.
It would become like, I'm not even joking. That Champions League and Premier League in the same season plus 2020 would push him up like where it's not even.
It's like it would be like a Benzema. It would be like one of those Benzema seasons that solidified him as an all-time.
It's like it's not even a debate about a conversation. It's a conversation.
Yeah,
like
no.
This is what us as Liverpool fans. When people shut down the conversation, I was like, look, what this guy has done consistently over a period of time, as Olu said, his body of work justifies the fact that he's in that conversation. And that's what we don't like, and that's what I don't like, is when people shut it down without even having a conversation. He's worthy of being spoken in the same breath as some of these other guys because of what he's achieved.
And Rack, also to your point, if you win as well, sorry, I know I interrupted you in flow.
He would
have betted what Henry had done in England, because Henry won 2 league titles. Was it 2 league titles? I think it was 3 FA Cups. Okay, maybe not on the cup side, right? But he would have won 2 league titles, so he'd have matched what Henry did, and also had a Champions League, something that Henry never did, even though he had a chance to do against that Barcelona team, right? So in terms, if you're just going by, put your medals on the table, he would have matched what Henry has done, plus the Champions League medal, right? Then it comes down to just emotions. How do you feel about the player? How did it make you feel? And I think you could argue that it was a little bit harder to play against defenders back then versus now because of systems and so on and so forth. But you're right. I love the conversation now of Salah being there, because I think he's worthy of being in that conversation right now.
Yeah.
And I think that you're talking him, you're talking the Rooney's, you're talking. I think Hazard, unfortunately for him, he's there in that conversation, but maybe not at the same level now as when you're talking about some of these other players, even the Harry Kanes, even though Harry Kane obviously didn't thankfully win anything at Tottenham, and we thank God every single day.
It's an everlasting debate. Like I still rate Hazard more than Salah, but obviously end of the season, if you tell me he'll get a double in 2020, then it's a bit more like because Hazard did give me 2 Prems and the Europa League and a few cups. So for me, Chelsea being where they are now, he's helped us be there. He's one of the pillars of my club the last 20 years. So I can't ignore that. So for each club, everyone has their allegiance and their own justification to why people still rate Gerrard over Salah. So people have their little memories, they have whatever. So yeah, man, stick debate.
Also 30-20. This quoted properly. It was actually 20. I think it was 27 goals and 20. So it's got to be more than 20 goals. It's 20. I think it's 27 goals.
A large number, but yeah, man. Sick debate. Really, really good viewership as well. Late, was it? Christmas Eve now. So shout out Christmas Eve. Everyone enjoy your family. Today and tomorrow is a good spirit. We're all enjoying ourselves. Hopefully we're back tomorrow. We can get more people to talk football on Christmas Eve. Enjoy your night, of course.
Are there games tomorrow? There's no games, right?
Boxing Day.
Sorry, right?
Boxing Day.
Yeah, so Boxing Day is a bit everyone loves, isn't it? Christmas Day, you enjoy your family, and then Boxing Day you get to enjoy the food and the football.
Cool.
That's right.
Everyone plays as well, so it's sick. Unless you're
losing to on Boxing Day.
Who's Tottenham got?
We haven't even spoken about Saka.
Ipswich. Chelsea have Fulham at home. Liverpool have
Wolves.
You got an easy game. Liverpool's got an easy game at home as well.
I should know this, shouldn't I? I'm not
sure.
Liverpool
have an easy game at home.
Every game is easy for Liverpool right now.
Yeah, in fact. Well, let's go through this before we end the stream, so we know for Boxing Day.
Leicester City at home.
Away.
Oh, Leicester down.
Walking out.
That's gonna be a whooping. That is gonna be a whooping.
Jay.
Wait, I thought everybody play Boxing Day. Oh, they do.
They do. Jay, do not duck the smoke on Thursday. Okay.
Wait.
Do not duck the smoke.
Do not duck the smoke. Okay, I'm just telling you what I'm messing
around. You know Spurs. Spurs are the only team, yeah.
Like just causation is not correlation. Just because I'm not around doesn't mean I'm ducking the smoke. I could have stuff going on.
Guys, you know Spurs are the only team not playing at home as well. They're the only everyone else is playing at home. They're the only team. Man City at home, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal.
I will send you a bottle of wine for that Thursday so you could drown your sorrows, because obviously I think you might need
I appreciate that, bro.
But yeah, man, where's United? They're playing away. I lied. But the agendas have to agenda, right? So anyway, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll put Rack, Olu, and Jay's handles. I think they will Twitter heavy as well. You see them all the content. Tomorrow I'll be back with another video. Have a lovely Christmas Eve. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Enjoy the
Merry
content.
Christmas.
Love.